The Razer Huntsman Mini. Jeez, look at that price tag. This is one of the reasons I waited so long to get this keyboard and wasn't even planning to purchase it, but it was requested so much I eventually had to see what all the hype was about. So is it worth it, and does it live up to the hype? Actually, I think that... Before this video starts, please go follow my Twitter at JustinTechTV. I'm expecting all of you watching this right now to go follow, and I will be checking, so if you don't have a Twitter, go make one and follow it right now. And if you do, you better already be following before I finish this sentence, or else. But for real, go follow. I have really good conversations with everyone on there who DMs me, as well as I give some setup tips and some behind the scenes, so make sure to go follow that right now. Okay, so the Razer Huntsman Mini cost around $120 US on Amazon, which is pretty expensive for a 60% keyboard, especially because it is not hot swappable and doesn't really have any crazy features to make it that expensive. Though other keyboards like the Pro 2 are around the same price at around $100 US. The Pro 2 was already one of the more expensive 60% keyboards, and it's still $20 cheaper than the Razer Huntsman Mini, and that's not even when it's on sale. So we are already starting off with a bit of a con already, as most people won't be able to justify the price, but we are still going to move on anyways. Besides the price, I was really surprised with how light this keyboard is, as it only weighs 433 grams. For comparison, the RK61, which isn't really that heavy, weighs in at 580 grams. I thought this would make me dislike this keyboard because I usually like heavier boards because they don't move around as much. And while the Huntsman Mini does move around slightly, it does have very good grippy feet to keep it from moving very often. The Huntsman Mini comes in black or the mercury white version, which is the one I got, as overall I think white keyboards just look a little better and reflect the RGB lights a bit more. The case is made of plastic, and on the back has this "By Gamers for Gamers," which is Razer's slogan, engraved all over the back, which is a nice look to me. Also, it has these 4 grippy feet on the bottom, as I mentioned earlier, and feet to raise it from flat to 6 degrees, which is the normal angle for keyboards like the Pro 2, which is usually what I like to keep the angle at anyways, or you can raise it even higher. It uses USB-C like most keyboards and has a cutout to plug in the cable, which is a good size so you can still fit custom cables in it, or the super nice braided cable that it comes with. Mine came with a white cable. I'm pretty sure if you get the black keyboard, it will come with the black cable. This cable probably adds to the price a little bit, but it's still really nice that they included it in the box. The keycaps are double shot, backlit, and PBT plastic, and are pretty good quality. They also have a slight texture on the top, which will help to keep away the fingerprints. Speaking of backlit, this is a Razer keyboard, so the RGBs are super bright and accurate. It also uses Razer software, which is one of the best keyboard softwares that is out there, so that's a huge plus if you're looking for some of the best RGB lights on a keyboard. I would say that the Huntsman Mini even has brighter and better RGBs than the Ducky 1-2 Mini, which up to this point has been the brightest RGBs I've used on a 60% keyboard. You can customize macros, the lighting on each key, change the lighting effects, and change the function of each key and more in the software. And it's super easy in Razer Synapse 3, which is probably why it's the best software I've ever used in a keyboard. You can also change some of the effects on the keyboard itself without the software, but I highly recommend just getting the software right when you get this keyboard. I got this keyboard with Razer optical linear switches, but they also come in their clicky switches as well, which I don't really prefer, so I went with the linear switches, which actually surprised me with how good they feel. I usually use tactical switches and really am not a fan of linear switches, but these switches feel super good and are the best linear switches I have ever used, which is just the reds and the blacks, but they are far better than both of those. Each switch has its own stabilizer, which reduces the wobble of the switches. The linear switches are also very quiet, which I like, so I can do some late gaming or typing, but that's the main reason I went with the linear switches over the clicky version. So here's a quick sound test for the Razer optical linear switches. Again, I really like the linear switches and highly recommend you getting them over the Razer clicky switches if you do end up purchasing this keyboard. Also, if you're going to get new keycaps, they don't have the normal MX stabilizers, but you will be able to use any regular keycaps on this keyboard. You just have to pull out the little adapters they have on them, and then you can put on any keycaps you want to replace them with. Speaking of custom keycaps, I just got a bunch of new ones and will be posting a video in the near future of the best keycaps part 2, so subscribe if you want to see that, and in the meantime you can go watch part 1 again if you want to. If you press the function key, all the secondary functions will light up, which you can also change in the software. To use the arrow keys by default, you press function and the I, J, K, and L keys, but again, you can change that in the software. For a score, I will give this keyboard an 8.2, which is extremely good, though it does have its cons, with the major one being the price tag and the fact that it weighs as much as a feather. It makes up for it in my opinion with extremely good switches, nice RGB, good software, and besides the fact that it's made out of plastic, it is still extremely well built, which is why I would recommend getting this keyboard if you can justify the price. Or you can check out my other keyboard reviews of some keyboards that are a lot cheaper, like the RK61, which is also a very good keyboard and comes at a third of the price of this one. If you made it this far in the video, you better be following my Twitter or I will find you. No joke. But you know, also joke. Also, if you want to talk to me or discuss keyboards, go join my Discord. There are a lot of cool people in there, and I will see you guys in the next video.